it's Mary, and today I have a book haul for you. I decided that I have to stop excusing myself all the time, hence the title. I mean, I've gotten to the point in which I apologized to the grocery shop lady because I don't go there that often since we grow our own vegetables and fruit at home, and who cares? I mean, maybe she cares, but it's not her business. I mean, why? Why? So, you know, I love books and I love reading, and that's why I'm buying books, and I will keep buying books. You know, 60-ish books unread on my shelves. I can go with that. So yeah, because I am an idiot, I didn't mention some of the books that I'm going to show you in my previous haul. So these are some of these books I bought this month and some others at the beginning of the year, but I just forgot about them. So let's get on with the books. The first one is not really a book. It's called Kakebo. I hope this is the right pronunciation. It's kind of a journal and should be like the Japanese method to save money. And as I said, it is a journal in which you just write your entries just to manage your finances a little bit better. And what's cool about this one is that, apart from the fact that it claims to increase your saves of a 35%, which is pretty good in my opinion, it divides the kind of different expenses in categories, so you kind of keep an eye on how much money you're spending on what. I had bought this one previously last year, but then I got married and a lot of things happened, so I just stopped doing that. And I hope that this year I can keep up with this. Never mind that 6 months have already passed and I just bought this one, but yeah, don't talk to me. The next books that I'm going to mention I have read previously, but either I don't own a physical copy of, or I have editions in Italian because I have read them many years ago, and I actually hope to reread them soon because I don't remember even what happens in most of them. So the first one is The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne, and I studied this book at university. I really enjoyed it when we got around to it, and even watched possibly all the movie adaptations that there are out there. And my favorite was one from the, I believe, the 30s, in black and white, no sound, and it was just brilliant. I remember the basic plot of this one, but I really want to experience this once again, so I'm hoping to reread this classic very soon. Another classic that I hope to reread is Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. Again, I read this probably more than 10 years ago, and apart from being, you know, a dystopian in which books are involved, I really don't remember much more than that. I remember that I enjoyed it very much, so I really hope that I'm not disappointed. I've only seen basically great reviews about this one, so again, very excited to pick this up again. This next one, I really considered this one to be one of my favorite books of all time, but you know, I'm not that confident in this statement anymore because I read it more than 10 years ago and I was a teenager, and I don't know what I would think about it now that I am an adult. But this is Watership Down by Richard Adams. I do remember what happens more or less, but the thing about this book that really made it stand out for me was just the way in which rabbits were portrayed, because they're not portrayed in a human way. They are portrayed in an animal way, which is something unusual for me since most of the animals that are like in literature and in even movies or cartoons are just, they think as we would think. They do think as rabbits, so I remember being blown away by this fact, but I really don't know what I would think now. I should probably reread this one again. Next, I bought this beautiful box set, which I'm going to show you. I think it's from the 90s. It contains The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings trilogy. The Lord of the Rings trilogy is one of my favorite books of all time. It means so much to me for a lot of reasons, but it's been ages since I read it, and I really want to reread it. I do own an edition of The Lord of the Rings in Italian, which I completely adore. I think it's beautiful. The cover is beautiful. It's vintage, so I had to really look for it to find it, but I actually never read The Lord of the Rings in English, which is shameful. So there are so many editions around, and I'm a bit of a collector, so I would love to get my hands on basically all of them. But this one was very fun for me and very colorful, and it has The Hobbit as well, which I read and really enjoyed as well. So I'm going to show you the covers. This is The Hobbit, then we have The Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers, and The Return of the King. I then bought J.R.R. by Charlotte Brontë, and I did read this book and I don't remember anything, not even the main plot of this. Why? I don't know, but I do remember loving it. I only had this in Italian, so I really want to reread this one and see if I still like it. The last 4 books that I have not read. So the first one, I think I showed you briefly at some point in another video. It's Anna Karenina by Lev Tolstoy, and this book is huge and it is gorgeous. I am currently reading War and Peace, participating in a read-along, and I am slowly getting into it. I'm not really, I'm a bit behind with the read-along, but I'm still enjoying it. And I'm not sure about the translation though, because I switched to the Kindle edition that is available for free on my phone just because I didn't have the book with me and I wanted to keep reading. And I do think that one, which I'm not completely sure, I think it's the Mod translation, but I'm not sure, so don't take this for granted. But I really enjoyed that translation a little bit more. I think it flew so much better, so I got a little bit angry at this translation, and I know that this is translated by the same people that translated War and Peace. But I have to say that after a while I've gotten used to it. Maybe once I'm finished with War and Peace I will see what I think, but I'm really hoping I'm going to enjoy this one. This next book that I bought really gives me summer vibes, and it is a book written in Spanish, so I have the Spanish version of this one, and in English is translated as Like Water for Chocolate by Laura Esquivel. She is a Mexican author, and I remember this book very fondly, even though I never read it, because when I was back at university I was studying Spanish, and 2 of my best friends from uni, they both read this book and told me that it was amazing, that I had to pick it up, and I then said, yeah, of course I will, but I never did. So I just thought it was about time that I got to this one. It's supposed to be a love story set in Mexico, and it has to do with cooking as well, which is something that I really adore. So I'm not really into romance that much, but this really seems like a book that I would enjoy. And it also has like some recipes, which is a plus because I love cooking. So like you have the ingredients and then the chapter that goes on. I am reading another book in Spanish currently, so I'm slowly getting back into the reading in Spanish thing. Since the last time that I read a book in Spanish, it was more than 5 years ago. I'm slowly getting there. I still have it, so I'm happy that I did not lose all, you know, the Spanish that I studied. And I'm hoping to get to this one actually this summer. The next book that I have is The Enchanted by Rene Denfeld. This one, I had it on my wish list on the book depository. The price dropped all of a sudden. It was half price, so I thought, well, let's just pick this up. I've heard nothing but great things about this one, and Rene Denfeld is a death penalty investigator. I believe she wrote a lot of nonfiction as well, although this one is fiction. But I really think that, you know, she draws these stories from her personal experience, so it's going to be very interesting to read. And it says, I'm going to read you the blurb because I think it sums it up perfectly. It says, a prisoner sits on death row in a maximum security prison. We don't know his crime, we don't know his name, but he watches and he listens. A lady investigator unravels unspeakable crimes. She does not let men go to their deaths without a fight. and the prisoner wonders, how do we stop men like me from happening? Yes, so I am very excited to get to this one. It's supposed to have even some like magical realism elements in it, and I really love the cover as well. I think it's beautiful, and at the beginning of every chapter you have this little bird that you have on the cover, which is nice. Okay, the last book that I have is What I Talk About When I Talk About Running by Haruki Murakami. I hope that is the right pronunciation. He is a Japanese author, and I never read anything by him, although obviously I had heard of him because everybody seems to, if not enjoy, at least read a lot of his work. So I always thought that I had to pick up something by him at some point. This is a non-fiction book about the author's experience with running and how this shaped his life and his writing. He reflects upon this kind of sport, relating it to his life. I have to say that I do like sports, but I absolutely loathe running, and I wish I didn't, because I don't know, people talking about running and how good it makes you feel, even if you do, you know, other sports, running is just complementary to them because it builds up resistance. So I really wish I enjoyed running, and I know that this is not solely about running because I wouldn't have picked it up if it was for that reason. And I heard people saying that even if you don't like running and if you don't enjoy running, you will enjoy this book. So I hope that he makes me at least inspired to try and go running. That's basically the reason why I bought this book. And I'm also curious to see whether I like his writing or not. These were all the books that I had to talk about. I'm really happy that I bought them, and I cannot wait to get to them. Let me know in the comments down below if you read any of them, what you think about them, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!